Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. At least we're trying to be with all the craziness that's been going on with me and everything else over the last several weeks and months. But we have a show. We're going to be catching up on a topic that we were going to touch upon closer to the European Fan Festival back when it first happened, talking about some lore speculation, especially with some of the weirder things that we're going to be getting in 5.0, the less predictable things. And since we've had plenty of time to digest Eureka at this point, we figure we'll take a quick look at the lore, what little there is of it. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Povo. Of course, Ethys is very upset that I said that right now. All right, hold on. You'll get to that. Let me finish the intro, Ethys. I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Povo. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyh, aka Greyfox, aka you, my boy Blue. How you doing?
How very dare you? The
Listen,
audacity.
I've got opinions, all right? That's all that matters.
The audacity.
No, I'm not using Audacity. We're using Zoom. But anyway.
Wow.
And, of course, when we talk about lore, we do need to invite, I guess, this guy. I mean, we have some other options, but we go with this guy for the most part, it seems.
We have some other options, but you know that I would have such a tantrum that it's just not worth the pain. What's up, everyone? How we doing?
Hi, Ethys.
Hi. Hey, guys.
It's good to have you. We wanted to do this show for like 3-4 weeks, but it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, I know. It feels bad, man.
But we're here now, and it's okay.
We are here now.
Yeah.
Well, it's good timing because we're all through the high daters now.
Yes.
So we can talk about that.
Yes.
I concur with Slyh. How very dare you?
Okay, listen. There's the most interesting things that happen just all happen far too close to the end.
Okay, I agree with that. Yeah, there was a lot of like titillation through it, and then suddenly in high datus, it's like, here's the answers, and we're like, okay, all right,
yeah.
Great.
Well, before we get to that, we have some other things to talk about first, and I do have. Before Slyh has to type it in reminders in the Zoom group chat, I would like to... Slyh, here's the thing. I know you're thinking about it. You're being responsible. So I'm just making sure that you don't have to get to that point. So before we get started with this lore talk on this episode, reminder that this podcast, and my channel in general, is sponsored by SteelSeries, and every month we do a SteelSeries giveaway where one lucky winner gets to pick something out of a list of prizes. As long as SteelSeries ships to your country, you are eligible to win that prize. Also, must be age 18 and older. But anyway, on the YouTube side of things, go to the description of the video, click there, and also if you just want to check out SteelSeries stuff, type !! SteelSeries in the Twitch chat, or just look at the SteelSeries link that's in the YouTube comment section as well. We'll be thanking our Patreon sponsors halfway through the show, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Oh, and a special announcement at the end. You don't want to, you trust me, you don't want to fucking go anywhere until the end of the show, because I just got cleared to share something with you guys, and I want to share it with you because I'm excited. But you gotta wait till the end. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't click towards the end because I'm not going to give you a timestamp. Like, watch the whole thing. It helps with the ads on YouTube. Ethys, stop making that face at me. I'm trying to sell out here.
Everyone that just clicked to the end, that's the announcement. Welcome back. How cool is that? Isn't that awesome? All right, let's do the show.
Thanks. Good comedy. I appreciate the comedy, Ethys.
You're welcome.
All right. So, first of all, this show is technically combining two different shows that we were going to do, and probably, I guess, paraphrasing them a little bit, because we wanted to get you on after EU FanFest for a number of reasons.
Right. Okay.
Both just thoughts on EU FanFest in general, but of course on the lore, because I think even now, about a month later, we're still kind of just like,
what?
Huh? What? How? And so we...
Sometimes I wish that my head could turn like 360 degrees. just so I could react to
what, like little Nicky, where he literally, because you understand when it's 360, it comes back around the other way.
Yeah. No. I mean, like this way, like around.
Yeah. Okay. If somebody Photoshop that so Ethys can have his dream come true, please. Just take a still of his head and just do that real quick. There you go.
Please.
Yeah. EU FanFest was it's weird because we keep getting more questions. And this month is the month where we finally get answers. We obviously have to have another lore show after part 2 comes out, plus Beast Tribes, plus Hildebrand and all that. But man, like Slyh and I got to talk about it weeks ago, but I don't know if you've digested on that since Slyh, if you've really come to accept some of the lore tidbits that we don't know anything about and now have to speculate on wildly all the way till 5.1.
I'm holding my breath. That's all I can do. I mean, I could speculate, but...
Oh, please, speculate. What do you got?
He doesn't want me to because he knows exactly what I'm going to say. He knows exactly what I'm going to say.
Well, that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Aloha. Yeah, so Ethys, before we get into the specifics of some of the lore tidbits, I know I saw some tweets from you, but I would like some updated thoughts other than a one sentence tweet regarding your thoughts on what we learned at EU FanFest.
Okay, where do you want me to start?
No, just give me like an overall, and then we'll go to just what by the end of it all, what was your like physical and emotional reaction to it?
To EU FanFest?
Yeah.
It was a really interesting juxtaposition with the NA FanFest in a few ways. I think mostly because it wasn't in Vegas, so everyone was a lot more sober. But it was really funny. Like whenever there's a trailer or something at the NA FanFest, people are like screaming and yelling and like throwing things and getting so excited. When we got the updated trailer in Paris, everyone's just like, yeah. Wow, looks good. Looks good. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. The only time people lost their minds was when they were talking about the bangs for Viera. It's like, every option you can have with or without bangs. And everyone's like, oh, just completely losing it. And Frosty and I just watching it like,
Gunbreaker, no. New 24 man, no. This,
all right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Sure. All right. Bangs. Excellent. Very nice.
Maybe when they heard bangs, maybe they were thinking, you know what, let's not get on that topic. Anyway, so let's move on from that one. I mean, to be fair, Yoshida did say that he expected that the majority of the attendees of European FanFest would be far more into different aspects of the game, not like the hardcore raiding scene. That specifically came with their special guest panel where they were talking about the costumes and some of that stuff. So I guess that kind of fits in what you're telling me.
Yeah, I think so. And I found that really interesting. I mean, the atmosphere was the same in so many ways. But in so many ways, it was, really different kind of crowd. And like we've been getting so much feedback recently where Yoshida has been saying things like, well, the feedback to this content has actually been like vastly different between the different data sets. Like it was like that with Blue Mage. It's been like that with Hydatus and the Baldessian Arsenal and the way that that's been implemented. And it's really hard to sort of understand how that could be the case until like, I suppose you've kind of physically been in a space with these different communities at different times, at different places. And you're like, yeah, all right. Okay.
I mean, I'm jealous you got to physically go to Europe. I was going to go to Europe, but it's just, I thought about it too late. And so I was jealous. I was jealous of you.
Well, I was very, very fortunate. I only got to go because Fandom got offered to send someone over, and their Australian editor contacted me and was like, "Hey, you wanna go? You wanna do some pieces for me?" I was like, "All right, sure. You're gonna send me to Paris, and then you're gonna pay me? Let's do it."
Where can I read these pieces, Ethys?
You can read them on Fandom. They've all come out in the last 3 days, and if you have a look at my Twitter or any of my other socials, it's pretty easy to find. Yeah, you should check it out.
Everyone go support Ethys's work on fandom.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Even though he didn't want you to watch all the way to the end fairly, and he wanted you to skip ahead and come back. I'm gonna be the better man here.
Look, I wanted people to come back. All right.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. If you say so. Okay.
All right. Okay.
All right, let's start getting into the particulars, because one thing Sly and I had a lot of fun discussing when it first came out was that extended teaser trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Sly, yes. What are you knowing me for? What are you no. What are you knowing me for?
No, I want you to go ahead and say what you want to say.
He's the one who's going to be saying things. We've said our piece already. Sly, the thing you should be saving your knowing for is when we talk about the 24-man. Okay? That's where you should be saving your nose. Because that's where you definitely feel the most no. Stop it. So why are you knowing me now? I'm putting the pressure on you. You won't answer, and I don't like it. All right. He's just doing it because it aggravates me, and he knows it. All right.
So do we want to start with Y'shtola, or do we want to start with Urianger's sexual?
Yeah. Just go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off. Let's go ahead and rip the Y'shtola Band-Aid off.
All right. So what do you think is happening with the Y'shtola situation there, Slyh?
Kind of the same thing, or something similar to Soroban and Ginbu.
Okay.
That's fair. You didn't even say that a few weeks ago. Have you thought about that since? No, you didn't. We didn't have this discussion.
What about you, Mike? What do you think?
I was kind of torn because there was, there's nothing to really base it off of other than there's an empty husk of a body that's alive, and unfortunately, I'm kind of torn because I've long theorized that Matoya would be the one she'd sacrifice herself for Y'shtola at some point. All of Matoya's traits from Final Fantasy 1 Y'shtola has now. Being blind and having the crystal eye were supposed to be the thing. She's supposed to use the crystal eye to see. So I don't think Matoya is a title. That's the one thing I'm not subscribing to. I don't think Matoya is a title. I think that either she's taken up the name out of respect, or Matoya's physically in that body, or soul is in that body. Soul extraction.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think the theory that Matoya is a title isn't sound. I just think it's boring. It's just the least interesting of all possibilities here, right? Okay, so one, we've got Y'shtola is still been called and can't use their body, and Matoya's gone, well, I need to get involved, but like this thing can't move very fast. And that thing is pretty nice, so I'm just gonna borrow it.
What thing are you talking about?
Bodies.
The body. And so I'm just gonna borrow it. Like Y'shtola's not using it anyway, and it'd be a shame to let it go to waste. So I'm sure she won't mind. It'll be fine. But the thing is, like, that kind of rubs me the wrong way because Y'shtola would mind, and that's like such a huge invasion of privacy. Would Matoya care about that?
No.
I don't know. What's she going to do with her body? I don't know. So I think that's an interesting one. The idea that Y'shtola has been called, she's somewhere else, she can't use her body, so Matoya has just gone, fuck it. I'm just gonna jump in that. I'm just gonna snipe that body like that prick sniped Ethys's portal last night.
Ethys, you didn't have the portal sniped. I've seen the clip.
I got sniped.
It disappeared because you.
No. I'm not talking about the treasure chest.
Okay.
I'm talking about the treasure chest.
I'm talking about the portal. Okay.
There's another thing.
Okay.
All right?
Man, you have a problem with people taking shit from you, though.
I really have a problem with people taking shit from me.
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up and Matoya is going to be walking around my body next. So I think that's one possibility. The other, I really like what Sly's getting at. The idea that when Y'shtola returns, the last time she got cast into the live stream was the cause of the issue that she's having now with her eyes, and the reason we've been speculating since Heaven's Ward that she's basically a ticking time bomb and that's going to go off sometime. Being sent back into the live stream or through the live stream with the calling, that is only going to like exacerbate that problem. And I suspect that the only way she can come back is with some sort of intervention, and that Matoya will basically have to fuse her essence with Y'shtola's in order for her to be able to return to her body and survive the process. So I think it's possible that that Sly's right, and that there is like a sort of Soroban Genbu thing going on subsequently, or that Y'shtola has just kind of taken Matoya's essence. The third is that it's a title, and like I say, that's boring, particularly since Matoya already has titles. So calling her Master Matoya would be a redundancy in that case. One more theory I've heard, which I like slightly more than the title, but it's still kind of boring.
The alternate shard thing?
No. No, that's dumb. I'm not even going to entertain that. That is... What if there's an alternate shard where Matoya's a hot young Mikote? And Ryanoet is some kind of pansexual fairy. Yeah, sex god, yeah. Well, I mean, he is that. Like, he's certainly that.
Honestly, I'm just going to say right now, anyone who does watch the show strictly on audio, you really do miss all of Sly's facial expression. And they're really...
I have not heard this fucking theory. The fuck?
Hang on. Hear me out. So this theory is that Ryanoet is basically just patronizing Y'shtola. And Y'shtola's like, do this, Ryanoet. And Ryanoet's just like, yes, mom. And it's just him being sarcastic, like calling her Matoya sarcastically. Fine. Why the fuck would they put that in the trailer? That's boring. That's a boring theory. I always think that if you've got multiple like sound theories, it's sort of like it's like, okay, if you've got multiple sound theories, the one you should always go for in Final Fantasy XIV is the most like buck wild, insane one possible. I think. So there's some kind of soul fusion going on here, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Sorry, you mentioned Mikote and mine walked by.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
I see. Isn't that your fat cat?
Yeah. Not a void scent, though. Not a void scent.
Not void scent possessed?
No.
Are you sure?
No, this is the minion. The mount is the void possessed one.
I mean, like, he's pretty bloated, though. Like, that's why the mount one's so bloated, because it's been dead for weeks. Does he smell all right?
Yeah, he smells fine. He hasn't shit yet today, so.
Okay, all right. I think he might be a void scent.
And I had to pay $40 for that one, so.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Must be like 3 void scent in there. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, which of those theories do you personally subscribe to again, Mike?
I think somewhere between Sly's and her body is empty, and Matoya is just like all up in that shit.
Okay.
Yeah. The master one is the one I'm furthest from. I'm like, not just because it's boring, but again, the redundancy bothers me more. Master Matoya. So it'd be Master Matoya Y'shtola. Like, I'm not down with this. Master Matoya Y'shtola rule. I'm like, I'm not down with that. All right.
Yeah, like they're calling Matoya Dr. Professor. Is that what it is? Like, it's
pretty much
stupid. It's stupid.
Dr. Professor. For me, that's definitely the most interesting thing. Even in Dissidia NT, which by the way is going free to play March 12th and will be available on Steam, they changed her to a thaumaturge, Y'shtola. They did change her, so I thought that's
very interesting.
Yeah, which just goes to show Scions are never allowed to be jobs, even when they are jobs. Even when Thancred's a gunbreaker, they'll just be like, eh. Just be like, fuck it. He's been every class job, everything fucking ever. So whatever the hell he wants to do, he can go ahead and do it.
Well, I think Gunbreaker's a really good job for Thancred with his issues. With his anima and manipulation of ether and all that. The fact that he's using Magitech makes sense, right? Like, makes perfect sense.
If it's Magitech. That's the other part. We got an extended look at Thancred as Gunbreaker, and even though it's not really much to derive from the cinematic, because those are always kind of hyper exaggerated, he physically does load ammo into the thing. He doesn't pull from his own ether, which is worth mentioning. So
it's Magitech.
Yeah, I mean, they said it would vary very much so from what we currently have, but it probably is. Because they said there's a reason why they didn't use... Well, they said the reason why they didn't use Garlean ones is because compared to Squall, like, no one cares. Like, those are more like bayonets than gun blades. So they're like, we need, like, real gun blades. And so that's what he's getting.
Do we think that... I've heard some people say, oh, maybe Urianger is possessed as well.
I have a hard time going with that because there's no... then you'd have to potentially have every single person have some... Like, you'd have to then start... Is Justinian and Alphino? Like, is it... Like, you have to start going down...
There he is!
Every route. No, not that kind of... We already talked about that. We told you not to Reddit it, and you did.
Yes, he is. Yeah. He certainly is. He is all up in Alphino.
They're just going to go... Yeah, Gaius is Lise. Gaius is in Thancred's body. Who knows? Maybe Gaius is in there.
Maybe
that's why he can.
Maybe they're all in.
Maybe they're all in there. Yeah, I mean I've seen that around, but I saw somebody suggest. This one I wasn't ready for this. Someone said that Munbrida's soul was just in the live stream, and it takes Urianger's body, and that's why he dresses like. I was like, she was a warrior. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but she wouldn't dress like she wanted to dress. She would just dress to like fuck with him and make him feel as awkward as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets back and he's like, what
the fuck?
Oh man.
Yeah,
I don't know if I subscribe to the everyone is possessed theory.
No, I hope not.
It's boring as shit.
But there's got to be some reason for Urianger changing job. Like, he never does anything without a very, very good reason. It's not just going to be up, like...
he just sits in the thing and is like, hey.
All right now, okay. All right, well, Shinryu would have killed us if it wasn't for him. So there's that.
No, we're the warrior of light. We don't need him.
Okay. All right. I mean, he saved, like, an entire parallel universe.
Yeah, which now seems to be coming back to bite us in the ass.
Well, I'm sure he'll fix that too.
All right. If you're confident.
Will he or will we?
I have faith in Urianger. I have a lot of faith in Urianger. So we know that scene with he and Y'shtola happens in the Raktika Great Woods, in a little town. And by the time we get there, that has already happened. It's already been decimated. Do we have any theories there?
Sly?
Time. Simply put, time. But it's a matter of when. I don't know. I can't say when.
Or is it a matter of where?
Did you just say what he said again, but with this and more implications on time travel?
Yeah, basically.
No, I said where. You think time travel?
Where?
Well, no. You say where? You're talking about a different shard, correct?
Well, look, I personally don't want to go to another shard because I think there's plenty of shit that we haven't seen on our own one. But the thing is, if we are traveling to another shard and we're seeing events that have happened like while they've been called, and then we arrive there and see the aftermath, that's a possibility that I've been seeing thrown around. I don't subscribe to it, but I just think it's so significant that Yoshida hasn't told us where we're going yet. I mean, he's told us the names of some of the zones, but he hasn't said, "Oh, we're going to Ilsabad, we're going to Western Othard, we're going north, we're going south, we're going to Mary City, we're going to New." He hasn't said anything, and we got that we got that with the second fan fest last time around. The revelation that we were going to Othard and to Doma, and that wasn't like a huge surprise.
That was the third fan fest last time, because that was when they revealed Samurai.
Did they not reveal the extended trailer at the second fan fest?
They're not going to reveal the second trailer and then give us the Sam Raimi hint. It was first one was first fan fest is Scarlet Witch, second fan fest Red Mage is revealed, Spider-Man shirt, Sam Raimi, third one Samurai extended trailer.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, we've got the extended trailer, and
we still at least knew we were going to the Alamegan areas by it. We had some semblance of like geographically at least part of what we were doing.
Right, and it was already like super obvious that we were going to be getting invested in Doma and Othard anyway. I just think it's really salient the fact that they're being so careful not to tell us where any of these zones actually are geographically, and that makes me worried that maybe there is going to be some sort of shard travel. I personally don't think so. I personally think Raktika Greatwood is going to be like on the far side of Iblis, like the western side of Iblis, and we're going to be like moving towards Ilsabad that way. But it's just super interesting to me that we had such a clear idea of what was going on when we got the extended trailer for Stormblood. It was so obvious what was happening. We're like, all right, sweet, let's do it. Whereas we get this one, and we're just like, what?
I'd like to point out that the reason why the Raktika Greatwood isn't a dead giveaway is because the Golmore Jungle was revealed to us. There's nothing to indicate that the Raktika Greatwood is part of the Golmore Jungle. There's nothing to absolutely indicate that, which is why we're having this discussion of where it is.
And see, what's odd to me is the scenes, the little, not scenes, but the videos that we did get of the Raktika Greatwood, like it's still kind of semi-pristine, but in the extended trailer, shit's on fire. So I'm having a hard time kind of picturing as a matter of when all this is happening, because pristine fire, something happened.
Well, that's why
the fire's like pretty self-contained. Like we've seen a shot of where the fire happens, and like it's pretty devastating, but it's pretty self-contained. Like it's a pretty small area.
Right.
I think the clues we got for the Raktika Greatwood are the fact that we know that the Numo are there, and that we've seen some shots of some settlements that look exactly like the Viera settlements in Final Fantasy XII.
You can kind of spot some small Viera NPCs in the video, also in the distance.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go then. So that's why we're sort of speculating that the Raktika Greatwood, while not in the Golmore jungle itself, has got to be like on the peripheral. It's got to be close by. We know that like the majority of the Viera in the Golmore jungles, but there's other communities that are outside the jungle. The Raktika Greatwood's probably going to be one of those, right? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best we got. That's the thing, man. 2 fanfests in, and we got nothing better than a probably. Or a maybe. Or a possibly.
Yeah.
Feels weird.
Yeah, it's really... I don't like it.
I do. It's far more exciting this way.
Yeah, I mean, it is, but I've just been so used to like the last couple of expansions being able to say, yep, here's where we're going, here's what's going to happen, here's how it's playing out, and being like, mostly right. Whereas now I'm just kind of throwing my hands up. I'm like, I don't know. Could be this, could be that, could be anything. Who knows? It's frustrating.
I like it, though, because it makes me look forward to the next FanFest that much more.
Yeah, me too. And it's nice that we do actually have something to look forward to in the next FanFest, because a lot of that has kind of been spoiled for us this time around.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So we have the extended trailer. We have those little pieces. Still have no idea exactly where Thancred is and why this town is better. But the other reveal was finally that we have Child Philia. Yeah. So that was the most commonly accepted theory, I feel. Going back, there was a brief period where we had heard of a young child looking to take back Dalmasca, where we thought maybe, but probably not. And now we know that it's that we've got Minfilia reborn, pretty much.
So you think that Minfilia is going to be performing the role of Ashelia? Ashelia?
No. We were thinking that maybe if it wasn't Minfilia, it might have been Ashelia. There was that theory that went around after the 24-man had released, taking both those pieces of those contexts and taking them side by side. So, but I know it's Minfilia, so we don't even need to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, but you think that that's who they were talking about in the 24-man? Okay, all right, good. I thought you were suggesting for a second that Minfilia was like in the Ivalice fighting for Ivalice. I was like, okay.
No.
All right. So we can nip the time travel theory in the bud immediately. We've seen what Minfilia looked like when she was like 15, when she was Ashelia, before she became Minfilia. And I mean, all the other details aside, she didn't have bright blue glowing fucking eyes. That's something that she's only had since she became the Word of the Mother. And she still is the Word of the Mother. So time travel, no, I don't think so. I think that's out of the question there. So she's either, I mean, here's the creepy thing, right? Is that people with the Echo generally, like, well, the way the Ascians do it anyway, is if they want to take a new body in a shard, they need to possess someone. Has Minfilia just fucking possessed some poor child? Has been like, yeah, it looks kind of like me.
I want to believe
soul into the abyss.
I want to believe that as the Word of the Mother, she might not have to follow the conventions the Ascians follow.
All right. Well, because the alternative,
drastic times.
Yeah, drastic times. Sometimes you need to steal a kid's body. You know. Sorry, it was the only one that fit. The alternative is that she's made a new body out of ether, but we know, at least sort of anecdotally, that when you do that, you have to like keep spending ether to sort of conserve maintain that body. It. Yeah. So, which is the issue with primals, right? So is Minfilia, like child Minfilia, some kind of deiform entity now, where she's like drawing ether from the land to sustain her own form, and she's like, well, I'll just sustain a little form. I'll just sustain any little baby form. So I'm not using that much ether. So is that why she's
really
a child?
Want to do that? Yeah. Would she really want to do that though?
Maybe.
I mean, how much ether are we talking to maintain that form? Though? Is that
I'm just saying, if she wanted to come back, all right, she could have taken like some shredded fucking Highlander, right, and been able to do something useful with herself rather than hiding behind Thancred. But instead, she takes the body of this wee bab. So either she had no choice, or else she's deliberately done that for some reason other than just because she wants an excuse not to fight.
Well, she doesn't need an excuse. We're used to her not doing jack shit anyway.
Right.
Second of all, I'm going to assume that her being in a small form is more representative of how weak Hydaelyn is.
Okay. So that's kind of the only form that she can sustain.
Yeah. I have a feeling she is pulling ether, but I think she's pulling it from Hydaelyn directly. And that's, again, as you said, all she can sustain. While still at least leaving Hydaelyn in a state where she's not instantly vulnerable. Like Zodiark isn't instantly like, hey, I made it.
So why do we think she's doing it? Is she doing it for the same reason why she said she was going back to the first, where she's going to like draw all the light ether onto herself?
She might be, but then why would she be being hunted by these light-based void scent?
Because they're mindless, because they'll hunt anything, right?
Yeah, but they're chasing. They're not just like, well, you're here, I'm going to kill you. They're like, no, I'm looking for you.
Okay, so how do we know that Thancred isn't chasing them?
Because he's running.
He's running with her.
Right.
Pulling her. He's pulling her. Like,
if he wouldn't be like, hey, follow me until we find that thing, then hide behind a pillar.
Right.
He'd be like, all right, hang out.
Right. Because, I mean, it could be that Thancred and Minfilia are traveling around together and Thancred's destroying these light scent so that Minfilia can, like, absorb their ether. Could be something like that.
Could be.
Maybe.
Or, again, it could be that they're hunting her for whatever reason. It could be that, I mean, Void Scent, for instance, we know the way the Void Scent behave is that where they come from, they can't absorb any ambient ether. They have to eat each other in their own world, or they have to transcend shards and sort of hunt for sources of ether. So it could just be that she's like a significant source of ether, and all the lights are like, whoa, tasty. Let's get some of that. Let's get some of that light ether. That's a possibility. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
The thing is like, if she'd have to be at least cognizant enough to realize we're the warrior of darkness now, and she's a representation of light. And at the current time, it's still implied we're not enemies. It's assumed that when Y'shtola says she'll hold the line until their friend returns, that it's us.
Right, but they're not with Thancred.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to assume they're kind of all on the same page. Their bodies are all next to each other. They're going to wake up next to each other.
I don't think we have to assume any such thing. I think if we realize that we have to take the side of darkness, right? Y'shtola is a pragmatist. Rynoet is a pragmatist, demonstrably so. The only scion that would take protecting Minfilia over saving the world, I reckon, would be Thancred, right? So it's not out of the question that there's actually been some sort of like division between the scions, and that we've got some kind of like civil war sort of scenario going on, which I think could be interesting. Again, not one that I'm personally subscribing to, but I think it's something that we can entertain.
But Thancred's a trust, so we're not divided.
We don't know how the trusts work at the moment. I mean, they might be literal.
Us. That means they trust us.
Right. Well, the trust might be like, we're literally taking these NPCs into these dungeons, or they might kind of be like Final Fantasy 11.
So the way trust works in 11, because they're drawing from it, you do not physically take them. Basically, it's a form of magic in which a strong bond becomes a physical manifestation,
right?
Based on magic.
Right. But again, we don't know whether it's going to be the same as it was in 11, or whether it's going to be a case of us like literally taking those NPCs.
Taking them.
Yeah. But if it is the same as 11, there's no reason why we can't have a strong bond with Thancred and still be like opposing him at this time, right?
You just want an excuse for Gaius to be a trust. That's all I'm seeing right now.
I'll be disappointed if he's not. I'll say that. But at the same time, maybe Thancred is Captain America. Maybe he is.
And who's Iron Man?
Who's Stark? Who's Stark?
I mean, Sid obviously would be Stark, right?
Or Nero. I don't think he's really down for allegiances like that, but I mean, he's the only one. No, he's the. I would love to say Nero, but Nero's more like the bad guy.
Well, Nero's got Iron Man suit, right?
With a hammer, but
he's literally got one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Nero is Ironmonger. Or Loki.
Or Loki, yeah. You know, yeah.
Right, I think we've had enough of this. Captain Marvel comes out a week from today, by the way. Just as a reminder. Oh, man. Sid is not Bruce Banner.
Yes.
That would be funny. Okay. So we've got Minfilia. And we just don't know how she's doing what she's doing. We don't know why or how anything. Just be clear about that. No.
Do we have any other ideas why she could be there?
Absorb a flood of light.
Right, but don't we think that maybe her absorbing the flood of light from the first is the reason why we've got it all here?
Maybe. I don't know, because we still don't even know what the Black Rose is going to do, because apparently the light being the way it is conductive to their purpose with the Black Rose. We don't know what the fuck that means yet.
I think it's just going to make the Black Rose spread like way further.
So it's going to be like pouring it in a stream.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Either that or the Black Rose is going to make the light ether spread further. It's going to be one or the other.
Well, either way, we're fucked. It's kind of the point.
No, we're fine. We're good.
I mean, we will be because plot armor, but we're fucked, you know? Like, we are, but we aren't because anime powers. So, it just works out eventually. All right, so that's the extended trailer. We then, of course, have not really any major lore drops in regards to, I guess, the majority of the features. Gunbreaker, we know it's not a traditional gunblade, but we don't know, we know where they're starting, Gridania.
Which is interesting.
I don't know why Gridania. I guess I didn't know why Ul'dah for Red Mage and Samurai.
Well, there was no particular reason for either of those. Yeah. Well, Samurai because of the...
Domin refugees.
No, it was in Ul'dah because of the Colosseum.
There you go.
He was fighting in the Colosseum. And Red Mage was because of the refugees. I think a little bit more because of the Alamegan refugees. It could be that there's like Evilesian refugees coming into Gridania.
Yeah. It could also just be they wanted to tank in Gridania. Although it doesn't really matter because if you can't start as a tank, it doesn't matter if you put a tank in Gridania. It's irrelevant. It's on level 1. It's level 6.
Yeah, you can't start with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's about it. That's the only thing that you can really speculate on with Gunbreaker until we learn more about it. Sly, you look like you got something.
No. If that was it, one thing I wanted to hear from Ethys about was Ilming.
Okay, what about it?
Home of the Fairies. With Titania as the primal. Any lore implications there? The only thing I drew, personally speaking, was, well, Titania is a primal. Why haven't they said anything about Oberon or the possibility of Oberon?
He literally was all about this when this first, like, it was on the show we did. He was all about this
stuff. Yeah. Dude, Oberon's got to be there. I'm going to be so excited to see like a whole bunch of Shakespeare references in Ilmeg. I don't know how like significant it's going to be to 14's lore, but I think that zone is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Honestly, though, I mean, the fairies, they just kind of look like they look like a discarded concept art for the Sills.
Maybe they're related, distant relatives.
Yeah, same with like the Scholar Fairies. I'm going to be interested to see if there's any sort of connection there. What I am really excited for is the fact that they do have their whole new language, and every time we get a language, we get like a lot of stuff that is delivered in that language and a lot of lore implications subsequently, like with Dragon Speak, that kind of led to a whole bunch of really cool stuff. So I don't know.
I just want to know why they were so like against telling us why we were there. I mean, obviously they don't want to spoil it, but I'm saying like they very much brought up the point where this Titania doesn't look like they're bad. Why are we killing them? I'm just like, well, I gotta do that
because we're the way of darkness.
Again, lore-wise, from Shakespearean lore, like Titania and Oberon are having a big ass fight over a kid. So we might see that in here. There might be a fairy that's central to the story or plot of Ilming, driving Ilming. So we don't know.
So you think they might have some relationship with Minfilia?
The child of Titania and Oberon.
That would be so fucked up. No. The
body. God. I mean the body, not anything. Not actual Minfilia. Like Acilia is not. That'd be real fucked up if Acilia was secretly a fucking fairy the whole time.
Fairy.
A pixie the whole time.
Grown ass fucking fairy. Yeah.
So what I want to know in all this is who's going to be bottom.
Well, we killed Titania, so I'm assuming her.
No, I mean Bottom, the character from Midsummer Night's. So Bottom is the guy that gets his head turned.
Misinterpretation, just to be clear. He said bottom, like Bodhum, not bottom, like
No,
Bottum.
Bottom.
Bottum. Either way, not what I interpreted.
All right. So who do we think is gonna get their head transformed into a mule?
I feel like that they're just gonna bring that up in lore, and it's not. It's gonna be like, because you know how like Garuda, they talk about once being like a benevolent being, but then like got into a fight with a snake. I hope it's a
mechanic. I really hope that it's a mechanic, like where she transforms people into mules.
It's a beast tribe quest.
That would be cool.
I feel like that would be a beast tribe quest. If it is, kind of like what the Mughals made us do.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it would be something along those lines.
Well, honestly, this zone doesn't look like particularly, I don't know, like crazy interesting to me. It looks like it'd be fun. I just look, so long as I get a bunch of Shakespeare references in there, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
I think.
Me too.
Yeah.
Of course you will.
Because I'm a giant nerd.
You are
now.
Yeah.
Now, one question I have, drawing back, when did we, out of the fan fest, when did we get information about Xenos?
About what?
Xenos.
The first one.
Pretty quickly, I thought. I think the first one.
Yeah, he was introduced as the antagonist in the first one, and we were told that he was the son of Varys, and we were like, oh, damn, all right. We didn't know Varys had a son.
Just to be clear, we're talking about when Stormblood was revealed, because Xenos was mentioned at the NA Fan Fest for this round as well, but we're talking about Stormblood as the antagonist of 4.0.
Yeah, and it feels weird that we don't really have a new antagonist, and it may be just necessary because we already have so much going on right now, but yeah, there's nothing been said about it.
I think Emmett Selk is kind of the key. I think him and Elidibus are kind of the key. I think Zodiark is kind of our penultimate like goal here. But I think more directly Emmett Selk and Elidibus are our direct opposition.
Because in Heaven's Ward it was Thornton. In Stormblood it's obviously Xenos. So like there was no lead up. There was no lead up to Thornton. There was no real lead up to
Well, I mean wasn't paying attention. Like he was trying to get to Azaz Law. We didn't really know why, but we had an idea that the Warring Triad were going to be there. He was going there specifically so that he could draw on the power of the Warring Triad to become this invincible primal. And like, it wasn't really like central. It was sort of like a subplot to the whole Nidhogg thing. But we knew that he was going to do something like that.
Right.
Yeah, they gave us a pretty clear idea. They did a good job of making Thornton out to not be the villain while giving you little bits of clearly he was trying to undermine everyone else's plan. They did a pretty good job delivering Thornton. Kind of underrated. I felt. And then Nidhogg was like, I'll see you in 3 patches, bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'm still hoping we see Verchar or Azdaja in Amarang. Still hoping to see one of the two.
Yeah.
You think Amarang?
I mean, I'm just looking for any place to stick one of those 2 dragons at this point.
They have to show up somewhere, is what he's saying.
Yeah. All right, okay.
Sooner or later, those 2 have to get brought up.
All right.
So, Amarang is the next place that I'm expecting to hear. At least someone who's part of their broods. At the very least, members of their broods being there.
Okay. All right.
Depending on if we still don't know where this is even taking place, so it's hard to judge anything. I just want it. It's based on nothing. So, that's just a personal desire. Unless we're going to Mericidia, then fuck it. if that's why they've been keeping it a secret.
We're not going to Mericidia. There's no koala Mughals, and it's a gun job, not a boomerang. So there's no way.
You think you know Mericidia, but you have
I know Mericidia. I live in Mericidia.
You live in Mericidia.
Okay, I've lived in Mericidia my whole life. I think I know.
Well, clearly not enough. I just want to go to Mericidia for giant spiders. everywhere.
That's the little ones you gotta
fly everywhere.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a great spider migration.
Oh, great! Not going to Australia.
You guys know that one, right? The great
yeah,
spider
no,
migration.
they jizz over everything as they fly over it. Yeah.
It's not jizz. They
I know
make
what it is.
parachutes.
They create a light webbing that carries them through the wind, and it just sprinkles over everything.
And it just gets covered all over everything for literally thousands of miles.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Hell yeah.
I don't want it. If we go to Mara City and that shit is a weather condition, I'm crying.
Spiders is a word.
I mean, we have deer. We have Colonel Regina weathers.
It's just the little spider, like the abdomen, the tiny head, and then the 8 legs.
Weather spiders.
I will die.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. So with that, I'd say the 2 biggest things are probably Viera, which we kind of already talked about. There's a huge lore dump about them from Matsuno himself in-game from the Wandering Dramaturge. Yep. We've already discussed this. Yoshida even said, please go refer to the text from the Wandering Dramaturge in-game for hints about Viera and male Viera. And then you have... I guess we should probably bring this up now. Little mistake that was made on the French translation.
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. All right.
I know you're sick of it, and I'm of the opinion there's nothing to talk about here for a couple of reasons. But there was a mistake in the French translation of the game where A Realm Reborn NPC, as part of the A Realm Reborn story, had text files for female Viera, male Viera, as well as a female and male Hrothgar.
Hrothgar.
Yes. I'm of the opinion that was cut content and not leaked content.
Oh,
but I have nothing to dispute it one or another because it's real. Whatever it is, it's real.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% real.
And it's just a matter of whether it was something... Because there's files for Hrothgar all over the... Apparently, the name Hrothgar actually pops up in a ton of quests in that same way. It's just a matter of whether it was cut and they accidentally kind of pushed it into the game, or if it's something they added way earlier than they were supposed to.
Okay, so why would it have been cut if it was cut?
They just decided not to do it. Could have been another race idea at some point.
You think they're still not holding on to it?
I mean, they hold on to everything in case they use it later. There's no doubt about that. I mean, Viera has been long in the making, I feel. That is not a decision they said, let's do that now. Because they said that they even decided Viera before Matsuno did anything. Like, they knew they were doing Viera before.
And it was like a happy coincidence.
Yeah, they said it was a very happy coincidence that they got Matsuno for Return to Ivalice when they were planning on doing Viera in an expansion later. So I have to believe it. No matter what, they hold on to everything. And some people have said that the Hrothgar could have been... that Lupin were a cut race. I've heard some people say Hrothgar was a code name for the Lupin at times. Or like an original concept for the Lupin at times. I've seen some people say that the dwarves, which we know are the remaining beast tribe, which I guess no one paid attention in North America when they named dwarves, pixies, and the new Mo all in everyone was like, whoa, dwarves! And I was like, hello?
You said this.
Hell
they
yeah.
said this
We've known about
North
this.
America.
Yeah.
I guess we don't matter, huh?
I would love the Hrothgar to be playable dwarves. It would make sense given that it's a Germanic reference. Hrothgar was he was a Danish king, I think, like 5th or 6th century. He was in Beowulf. He was mentioned in Beowulf. And when we think of like non-human races, I guess from Germanic or Proto-Germanic or more like Viking sort of sources, immediately it's dwarves. Any of their old tales, any of their old literature, it's dwarves. But then we have, again, referring back to the leak, which sadly has been right about everything so far. And one of the reasons why, the Fan Fest reveals have been a little bit of a letdown for a lot of us. It talks about this sort of lion-like beast race. This sort of, I guess it'd be almost like Ronso-esque. I'm worried about it just being like buff Mikotes with big beards. And that's very upsetting.
Worried about that? Why?
It's too like ubiquitous with stuff we've already got. If we got a race that was more like Ronso, I mean, that would be kind of cool. But again, it's like dwarves. You know?
Dwarves!
Exactly. Like, we got enough furries in game already. Like, we got a Viera. We've got Mikote. People can wear, like, Lupin masks. We got plenty of furry bait already. Give me a little nugget with big, strong arms and a thick beard.
Why did you just want Chungo in the game? You're literally just trying to get Chungo in the game. I understand what's happening.
Come on. That's neither here nor there, all right? That's irrelevant.
Okay? You know what? That statement's bullshit.
If Chungo just happened to be in the game, you know what? I'd be fine with that, I suppose. I'd be okay. I could accept that. But that's not what this is about. This is about having a small race that is not Lalafell and that can just kick the shit out of Lalafell. Okay? Because some of us want to play small races but don't want to look like a fucking kneeless potato.
Hey, mine's got sideburns. You take that back. I've never seen a potato with sideburns. Someone with a mustache, that's about it.
My dwarf will tear your potato sideburns off and feed them to him, all right? Okay? That's all I'm saying. Give me fucking... You can't put dwarves in the game and not make them playable, all right? That's just cruel. That's bullshit. All right? Cut that out. You can't tell me there's dwarves in Final Fantasy and not let me play a fucking dwarf.
Ethys, I'm going to break your heart right now.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what the dwarves in Final Fantasy look like?
Listen, they look different in different Final Fantasy games. Right?
They're in Final Fantasies 1 and 9, which are the premier versions of the dwarves. They are green goblin-looking abominations. Okay?
Final Fantasy 4.
Final Fantasy 4, they don't have faces. They just have helmets.
Yeah, but it's implied. All right, it's implied that they're proper dwarves, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, Final Fantasy 4 dwarves are the best dwarves. That's what I want. Don't give me goblins and just call them dwarves. All right, don't give me masters goblins and call them dwarves. If you're saying we're gonna get dwarves, give me fucking dwarves and let me play dwarves.
I'm telling you, they're gonna be the goblin, the goblin looking motherfuckers.
Well, then I'm gonna have a tantrum. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, they're Jawas in Final Fantasy. They're just VVs, but with like spiked helmets.
They're not VVs. They're not. They're dwarves. They're just got little Viking helmets.
You can only see their like yellow eyes.
Yeah, they look like the Viking mammoths. They're literally just Viking mammoths.
Yeah. So dwarves are just
not Viking. They're not.
All right, when it's the green ones, we'll come back and talk about this.
I'm gonna be so mad.
Don't be mad with me. It's just listen.
I'm gonna
it's
be mad
majority rules. 2 of the 3 iterations of dwarves that people know well are those.
Literally, no one in the world knows dwarves well as being goblins. All right. When people think dwarves, even hardcore Final Fantasy fans, I don't think, oh, dwarves, yeah, those little green things. No one thinks that.
You know what I think when I think dwarves? And my axe. That's all I think of when I think of dwarves.
Exactly. And that's what we want. That's what we deserve.
Okay.
All right. Okay, I'm done. I think I'm done.
Okay. It's fine. When it's the green ones, it'll be fine. It's okay.
Fuck you. Eat shit.
No. I won't. That was another thing. The Steam page was actually fairly interesting in regards to a lot of this stuff because the Steam page accidentally listed a zone I guess we weren't supposed to know about yet. I don't remember what it was called. I'm sure someone in the chat will type it out in a bit. It also called Titania the king of the pixies.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the Steam page.
Yeah. Those were both
rectified.
Yeah. So they call Titania the regent in formal sources. So it just makes me think that it's not gendered.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think the pixies are going to be ungendered or bigendered.
Yeah, and I don't remember the name of the zone that they mentioned, which I'd assume we're gonna assume it's the goblin. It's the sorry, not the goblin, the dwarf zone. that was a legitimate. Yeah, Khuja was the name of the zone they accidentally posted on Steam.
Yeah, it was something like that. People were asking me if that meant anything to me, and I was like, it's just it's a name.
Maybe it's the Azus Law of.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
It's like the place where it's like the source of all light. Fuck the anti-tower. Source to Hydaelyn. Might as well be the source of all light. It's at least the doorway. The gates. There you go.
There you go.
So we're kind of skimming over this, so feel free to stop if there's something in particular you want to get real angry about. But I'm going to give you something to be angry about.
Okay.
So that 24-man raid, it has been confirmed that we're getting a Nier Automata themed 24-man raid series, Yorha Dark Apocalypse.
I've been near a tomato, all right? I don't need to be near a tomato in Final Fantasy XIV. I got enough tomatoes.
Sly's, again, if you're listening audio only, you're missing Sly's facial expressions.
I don't even want to be a part of this fucking conversation.
Why not? Why don't you want to be a part of it, Slyh? This is the best conversation we had about everything.
No. Everybody is hyped for this shit. I understand people who played Nier. I have not played Nier Automata. I have not.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
By the way, the Yorha special edition just came out, in case you're looking to try it.
No, Yorha.
Just letting you guys know. You can buy that now.
I really honestly feel that something is going to slip through the cracks. Lore-wise. Like, they usually do a good job of, whatever source material they're putting in to 14. They usually do a good job of integrating it, but this feels so different.
Except Omega.
Yeah, true.
Just go there.
It just feels so different to me. What do you think?
Ethys? Yeah, Ethys. I got it. This is the whole reason I actually brought you on the show, was to hear this.
Okay. All right. I'll start by saying Return to Ivalice was well implemented. They folded the lore really well into 14. We know that. But Ivalice has taken up a massive, massive part of the history and the lore of Hydaelyn subsequent of its implementation. The whole Tale of the Zodiac Braves is absolutely integral to understanding the history of Hydaelyn. It's integral to understanding the Garleans and where they've come from and what their historical journey has been. What I'm worried about is that when you do a crossover collaboration in 14 to date, they've been non-canonical, all right? And they have not attempted to make any impact on the lore whatsoever. So which way do we go with the 24-man? Well, if it has no impact on the lore whatsoever, and it's just a non-canonical collaboration, then that's 3 Alliance raids. That's an entire expansion of Alliance raid story. As far as I'm concerned, just wasted, just garbage, just inconsequential, right? The alternative is that suddenly a significant part of Final Fantasy XIV's history and lore is a derivative of Nier, and is a derivative of probably the biggest fucking egomaniac in the entire industry. I trust Oda and I trust Koji to sort of clean up after Yoko Taro, but Yoko Taro is the most self-indulgent, masturbatory producer, period. I don't see him playing well with others. They need to keep him on a really, really short leash if they're going to, I guess, maintain the integrity of 14's lore. Like, I like Nier Automata, but holy shit, Yoko Taro is just like, again, masturbatory is like the only way that I can sort of aptly find to describe the way that he writes and the way that he produces content. He's so fucking impressed with himself. He names characters after significant philosophers just to like name drop, just be like, ooh, aren't I clever? And then doesn't actually go anywhere with any of the themes or anything of any significance. Like, it's Nier is a mess, all right? The story of Nier is a mess. The self-insertion of Yoko Taro into Nier is a mess. It's a fun game, but if they let him, he's going to make a fucking mess of Hydaelyn, and I'm really, really worried about that.
I just want to remind everyone, Dragon Guard 1, which is the prequel to the first Nier, has giant babies attacking a boy and his dragon that have created a bond, and it's pretty fucked up. Some scary babies. Some pretty scary babies.
I just don't see. Again, it's either not going to be canonical or it is.
Oh, it's canonical.
And neither of those situations. I mean in 14, and neither of those situations are going to be ideal, right? So what I'm hoping for is that the raids are designed by Yoko Taro, and it uses like the aesthetics from Nier. It uses, I guess, the themes, the motifs from Nier, but does not use the story, like, at all. Or like very lightly alludes to the story, but makes it very clear that it's something completely different. Either that, or it's on another shard, another planet apart from Hydaelyn. It's on the fucking planet where Omega originally came from, and subsequently just has no impact whatsoever on anything that happens in Hydaelyn. And that would be fine, but like that's one of the reasons why people didn't particularly like Omega, is they thought that there just wasn't that much of an impact on our world. And the same thing with Alexander, right? That's something that people were sort of upset about. And something that was so awesome about Ivalice was the fact that it did have a real impact and it did have weights. So, I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, listen.
That was the most like reserved rant that I've ever made about Yoko Taro and Nier, all right?
That was reserved.
That was reserved. I was really holding myself back there, okay?
Woo.
Listen, you already know my theory. You already know my theory. That it's Ida is a robot, okay?
Okay. Okay.
Y'all already know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's Ida, Dark Apocalypse, YDA, Ida.
Mm-hmm. So what? Like Ida survived, and then they made
her.
No,
she died, and they just took her body and made her
and made it a robot. Okay, all right,
android,
cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I'm done.
Listen, Ethys. All I'm gonna say is, and I say this every time.
No.
Listen. Just listen.
I'm not listening. Blah 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 blah.
A robot flew from another planet to another planet to fight a dragon, and then chased that dragon to another planet. He created an alternate dimension which he had full control over to host a tournament of power.
A pocket dimension, all right.
It's still a dimension.
Pocket dimension.
Turn your fucking camera back on. I'm okay with androids.
Androids are fine. Androids are totally fine. We've like already got androids, basically, like mammoth androids. Artificial void set are androids. You look at like the Gen 3 and Gen 4 Clockwork Soldiers. They're androids. Androids in and of themselves are totally fine. That's not the problem.
Ida's an android.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Just listen, when I'm right, we can come back to this. Okay?
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
I have no doubt we will.
Yeah. It's okay. It's not. Listen, I'll wait till it's implemented and then I'll judge it. I'm actually not that concerned. I think Oda-san and Koji are going to have a pretty good grasp on this. I'm more excited about something that we'll get to talk about a little bit in Eureka. In that, and we're skipping a little bit ahead, and I'm gonna do this point, and then I'll thank the Patreon sponsors. Finally, we actually had our first choice in the way a story plays out in Eureka, and we were warned if you make one choice, you won't get to see the other choice. And let's just say that Nier and Drakengard and Automat, they're all pretty
choice based.
They're all pretty choice based in terms of, the way everything pans out in the end. And we are getting this fancy New Game Plus feature. So I think there's going to be multiple endings to this to this raid with one canonical one.
No. All right, so long as only one of them's canonical, that's fine. As soon as you start making like multiple divergent canons, that's a mess. That's a whole other thing, isn't it?
I'm going there with that. I think you're going to have to replay the 24-man raid scenes like 5 times to get all the cutscenes.
I think that every single, like all 3 of them are just going to be the same fight, but it's just going to have a different ending. And and you're going to get all the Nier fans just telling you like, no, you got to do all 3 of them. Otherwise you haven't played the game. But they're all the same. No, it has this different cutscene at the end. You got to do all of them. I already did it. No, you have to do it 2 more times. You have to do it 2 more times. But it's the same. No, it's different. Okay? It has a different 5-minute cutscene at the end. 324 man, all the same.
All I know is that you're making it sound a lot more like Mass Effect 3 than anything else. Mass Effect 3 is like that. Nier Automata is...
They rectified it.
Nier Automata is... There's a couple of them that are pretty similar, but most of them are pretty significant.
Yeah.
That's true. They have to design different bosses based on this shit, though.
Dude, I remember the first Drakengard... First 2 times I beat that game, I was like, wow, that was a really weird ending. And then I got to the babies, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It was pretty different.
Yeah.
Those babies.
That's the only way I could see this going. Like, if they go decision based, that's the only way I could see it going well. If you actually design fights around decisions, so you do something and like you make this choice. Okay, hey, I saw this boss. Wait, I saw this boss. I didn't get that. Like, that would make it interesting.
That would be very difficult to make that work.
Yeah, it would make design hell. But
what you're saying is the equivalent as if we went through Dunskaith and some people saw Ultima Weapon and some people saw the fucking the Succubus.
Yeah,
in the same instance.
In the same instance.
Well, it would have to do the same mechanics and just
exactly
a different model.
It'd be like how Alexander's hand is the same as the rock that's out in the hinterlands. It's like just identical. That's how it works. That's why they're there. They're placeholders.
Yeah.
All right. So unless you have more to share, Ethys, but I think you got a lot off your chest.
I mean, I could go all day, but I won't.
Oh, you're gonna save us that?
Save it for post show.
Oh my god. We've got to go do things eventually.
I'll save it for the show when it actually comes out. All right.
Okay. All
right, there you go.
Okay. All right. Cool.
You all have a lot to look forward to. Is all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck carrots. That too. All right. Let me see here. I just had the thing. I must have closed it by accident. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the Patreon list because I reorganized everything on my drives. And so a few things moved around. Oh, that's why, yeah, because a few things moved around. It was in one spot, and now it's in a different spot. There it is. So at the top of the show, we thank SteelSeries as a sponsor. You know who else can sponsor the show? You! You don't provide giveaways and stuff.
It's a good segue.
Nice. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't go with that earlier. People over on Patreon have been supporting the channel through hashtag demonetized. And there's been a lot more of that. Adpocalypse 2.0 just started. I think like Epic Games and like a couple other companies pulled out of YouTube again because of policies and shit. And on top of that, I've been getting flagged for Vieira because it thinks it's Viagra.
Yes! Oh, YouTube, yes! Oh,
I had to change. My Ozma mount video got flagged because I said the mount was dope in the description.
Don't put my YouTube.
And so as soon as I changed it to this mount is cool, it worked.
This is a Christian YouTube.
This is a Christian mount. Ozma is very representative of Christianity. I'm glad Ethys is getting such a kick out of that. Ethys is like, dude, you know how many words in the lore would fuck me on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh man. That's right. Just start. I mean, you could probably still manage it if you cared. But anyway, you don't. Where's the lore videos? Guys, where's the lore videos at this?
Hank, just,
I knew it. I only did it so he would do that. That's it. That's the only reason I did it. All right, so back on track. As I said, you can also sponsor the show through hashtag demonetized through Patreon. We have quite a few people who support over there. Now, keep in mind, I've been moving for the past... Turn your camera back on! I've been moving for the past... I've been moving for the past week, so a lot of this stuff is not updated on the stream itself. So forgive me for that, but let us thank our patrons of light first and foremost. Thanks. Now you're back. What the? I was not ready for Mr. Face right there. I have mine in my backpack. Anyway, all right. I can't look at you. I gotta focus. I gotta thank people. I don't know. I'm looking at my OBS, and because of you, I don't know what I'm trying to click. There we go. Patrons of light. We have Kurenai Oni from Jenova. I mean, no, now see, I can't get it because I'm just staring at Mr. Face. You're ruining everything. Kurenai Oni is not... Okay, there you go. He closed it again. All right. Kurenai Oni is not this person. Khuja Cross from Jenova is this person who has provided this screenshot from weeks ago. And thank you very much for the screenshot that you have provided and your support. Now, the other one that I'm going to... This one, that's Kurenai. That's the same image from a few weeks ago, but that's because that's the only one that I have, the most recent one. And also thanks to them for being the patron of light, which means they support a lot over on the Patreon. So now that I've gotten through that as awkwardly as possible, I can thank the rest of the people on the list. There's at least one person who's not on this list. So please be aware that I know who you are. You don't, but I know. You'll know soon. All right, so we have to thank our standard sponsors for State of the Realm. We have Trey, Edgefair on Ultros, Jerica, Emma, Nyrick of Clan Vizsla, Krista Uzuki, Crazy Meter from Midgar, Raijin Ventinus from Cactar, Carol, Ray, Senchi, Shadowlink on Tonberry, Dom, Asukawake from Jenova, Lemillion, Ella, Midgard Summer, Serren the Fennel family, Janhyua Yotsuyu, Kifca and the Great Eagles on Exodus, Aoshi from Kujata, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok. I heard one of you typing and I don't like it. Rylanator Westaus The Purple Warrior, Eadric Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark, Sour Cream and Chives from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia, Valefar of Siren, Phoenix Down FC on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. And we have our elite State of the Realm sponsors. We have, and I almost skipped a few names there, Vapatiama from Diablos, Shadow Ari of Brynhildr, Zeravire of Coworl, Alchemy, Shinka, Casual Heroes FC on Midgard Summer, Tatachitaka on Hyperion, Kainazuki from Jenova, Ustarla on Coworl, Sothal, Serrafrost from Behemoth, Holy Tabasco, Crass 015, Serenity FC on Ultros, Kakazuma, Ignis Farragon from Excalibur, Vlesher of Fanfrit, Knock Quarters from Excalibur, Crovus Moonscar, Private Mikey, Nani Kirisami, Rudy Rudiger, Kel Hackman, Roll Jr., and Kiltastic Jones. I could see you smiling. I didn't even need to see anything else because I heard one of you type it, and I knew.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here looking at you go ham. Thank you.
Minding my own business.
Thank you so much to all our sponsors for combating hashtag demonetized.
Hashtag Viagra.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for combating. Please don't tweet hashtag Viagra, by the way. You definitely don't want that on your timeline.
Combating hashtag Viagra.
There you go. And hashtag dope. Hashtag dope Viagra. Vieraga. That just sounds like AoE Viera. Not an erect Viera, which I think is the aim here.
AoE Viera sounds pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have no problems.
All right. So now with that, we can move on to lore dump number 2, and that is Hydatos over in Eureka.
Eureka.
Ethys, you seem excited. More excited than I thought you'd be. As much as we do learn a few things right there at the end.
Dude, it's
I don't
so
know.
good.
You know me, like, you and I had the same discussion with Alexander, where I was very displeased with the fact that it took all the way till the finale of Alexander for us to really get a grasp on everything. You know, I don't like that, and it happens here again. And I have some other issues with the way the finale actually plays out, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So I'm assuming both of you have at least done the majority of your rounds in Eureka at this point. Some Baldesion Arsenal or some Hydatos crystal farming, and you know the story, and you've made your choice, and you're all good. You guys are both all good on that front.
Fucking Chica.
Who's a guy, by the way. Don't forget, Edgica's a guy. Everyone, I literally had someone who was a female Lalafell walk up to me looking like him and said, "This is why it's a problem." They literally made their character look like Edgica, and I'm just like,
all right. Yeah, that's confusing.
that's very confusing.
Yeah, Edgica's a dude.
Yeah, just as a little reminder.
Hmm.
So,
What's got a dude's name? Ends with A.
what is this, Spanish class?
No, it's not Spanish class.
No.
It's Lalafell class.
Lalafell lore.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But that's why
literally
people do it. You know how many
big
people
name.
have said the name ends in A, and they think it's because...
No, it works backwards. For
I know it
Lalafell.
works backwards
Yeah.
with Lalafells, but that's... I've seen people go the other way with it, where they're like, you know, it's weird.
Nanamo is a female name.
Yeah.
Edgica's a dude's name.
And then you have Pippin, who is not given a Lalafell name because he was not named by a Lalafell.
No, he's got a Lalafell name. Pippin Tarupin.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wait. Oh,
Still
yeah,
got the
it's-
alliteration. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kryle doesn't have
There you go.
a Lalafell name because Kryle was named by Galuf.
Then why is Papalimo a dude?
Because he does whatever the fuck he wants. And Lolita. Just whatever they want. They're just they're rapper names, all right?
I'm just calling bullshit on all Lalafell names, okay?
Yeah, I can concur with that.
All right, that's it. It's all the names are bullshit. Ignore everything we just said. Okay. So, how did we feel about the finale here, lore-wise, to Eureka? I was happy about some things, but again, not pleased that it took until now.
It was a nice payoff. Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating all the way through, being like, what the hell's going on? Like, we got so little lore throughout. You know, every single one of these quests was just Kryle being like, all right, now go over here, grab that thing, come back. All right, cool. I'll speak to you again in another couple of levels. That was annoying. The implementation of the story could have been so much better. I mean, ideally, looking back, what would have been really nice is if we had something like Baldesion Arsenal at the end of every single one of the tiers, and that was a story vehicle for every single one of the tiers, rather than separating it from the story, which is what they've kind of done. As they said they did. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Eureka is a Elder Primal around in the time of Alec that was either a cube or was put in a cube by the Allegans and hidden in the Labyrinth of the Ancients, which they called Eureka because obviously they were not ancient at the time. Makes sense. It broke out at some point. My theory is probably that whoever was carrying Zantetsuken at some point got in and got Eureka out after the fall of Alec. But one way or another, it got out. It ended up getting into the hands of the Baldesians, which realized that it was basically this primal that could make pretty much anything, but its method of tempering was to make weapons which it would like just put in people's paths, basically just give to people or have people sort of come across, and it would possess them and turn them into these sort of like neo-primals like Odin, by being controlled by the weapon. And we know how Odin and Zantet Suken work. So Zantet Suken was made by Eureka. The Baldesian Arsenal was this section in the tower where they collected all these weapons from around the place where they found them and kept them there securely so they couldn't possess anyone else. When everything went to shit and the island was teleported, basically the surviving Baldesians went and hid in the arsenal and subsequently became possessed by the weapons, and those are the bosses that we fight inside the Baldesian arsenal. The reason the island was teleported was that an Ascian got in. An Ascian called, I think it was a Merrilolf. Is that right?
I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
I've got it written down somewhere.
Light, Final Fantasy 12.
Pretty sure it was a Merrilolf.
Okay. I mean, you can keep going while I check.
Basically, found out where Eureka was, got into the arsenal, tried to break Eureka out, cause havoc, and Galuf's response was to teleport the whole island into the live stream because he thought that if he defeated a Merrilolf while they were in the live stream, basically his body, he wouldn't be able to reconstitute it, get like torn apart by the ethereal currents, and he wouldn't be able to, respawn or whatever. So it was his solution rather than using like a sword of light or a white auracite or anything like that, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it worked because a Merrilolf appears in, I think it's the post 2.1 cutscene.
Sure it's not. Well, I mean, there's a few, because in 2.0 is when they show all of them in that one room when Bahamut wakes up. Are you referring to that one, or are you referring to when we start seeing some Ascians pop up as we're doing the... Because a bunch of Ascians are following us when we do Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan Extreme as well.
Yeah, that wasn't a Merrilolf. I might be thinking... No, I think I'm thinking of the post 2.0 one. We see a line of dialogue from a Merrilolf. And I'm pretty sure...
Although Eureka doesn't get teleported till 2.1.
That's true. Yeah, so someone was telling me the other day that the fact that a Merrilolf has a line of dialogue in that scene means that Galuf can't have destroyed him. But no, the timeline's wrong there. So I suppose it did work. Or at least as far as we know it worked. Yeah.
Until we see him again.
Yeah, so Merrilolf got kicked off the side of the island, basically Spartan style, and got torn apart by the live stream. But again, that doesn't make a whole bunch of sense because, like, the Ascians travel through the live stream all the time because they got the echo.
Maybe don't get hung up on this.
Yeah, I won't get too hung up on it. But one way or another, Galuf decided that was going to be the way to defeat him, so that's what they did. And then Eureka was supposed to stay in the live stream, and the island was supposed to stay in there. And they were going to sacrifice themselves to, keep the world safe or whatever. But Eureka basically intervened and steered the island out of the live stream, and it appeared where it is now. And that's basically it.
And he's much weaker at the time because of it.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing.
And all of this is from 3 books and some dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we already got everything's flowing backwards because... the Baldesians made this special seal that was in an emergency supposed to redirect ether away from the tower so that Eureka couldn't use it. That's why that's happening. That's why the different zones are all, different aspects, why we need the magicite, why everything's flowing backwards, why there's, a massive force field up around the tower and all that. I'm kind of surprised that Kryle didn't know any of this. Kryle didn't know about Eureka. It just seems kind of weird.
Well,
right?
Galuf and the Dawn Warriors, they're just don't tell anybody.
Yeah, they're like, we're all living in this tower, and a huge section of it is dedicated to this ancient primal and these weapons that if any of you guys touch them will possess you and basically turn you into primals. Just don't. It's that room. That room. That's all they've said. Just don't go in there. They haven't explained to Kryle or any of the other Baldesians like what the deal is and what's happening.
But the letter was left.
Really weird. Yeah, the letter was left like, oh, in the case of my death, here's what's happening. But it's like, well, in the case of your death, everyone else is fucking dead too, aren't they? You know, in the case of your death, no one is here to read this letter.
But we did.
And if we have, it means that we've already opened the tower and subsequently let Eureka and all of the Eureka weapons out. So thanks, Galuf. Good on you.
It was also, you know, it was an interesting tidbit. You know, a lot of the time we were suspecting Eureka was using Galuf as a herald. I don't know that that's the case necessarily anymore. I don't, because Eureka's definitely using his. I think the Eureka is using his body there at the very least. But we thought he might be tempered originally.
What happened to the herald? I don't know what happened to the herald.
I wouldn't say herald would be a good word. I think I use word herald. I think a thrall would be a better word.
Thrall, then. Well, what happened?
I don't know. I think it's just a corpse at this point because seeing. I thought we were seeing all those echo flashbacks from the perspective of Galuf. I think we're seeing them from the perspective of Eureka because they're all standing literally right in front of him in every single scene. I think we're meant to think it's Galuf, or either that or his body that has nothing left.
Now that you say that is a good point because we are looking at Galuf in all those echo scenes.
Yeah, in all the scenes, we're watching the four of them, pretty much.
But at the same time, in every echo scene, we are every other echo scene for everybody.
All I know is the dude says, "I am Eureka," and Eureka's in all those cutscenes where we're listening to the Dawn Warriors. So. I thought that was an interesting thing to rattle around the mind, whether we are seeing what's left of Galuf's memories from his body, or if we are actually digging into the Echo, which would be weird because that would be the equivalent of using an Echo on a Primal.
Which we haven't really done before.
Yeah.
I mean, Xenos has.
Yeah.
So there's a precedent, I suppose. So that's possible. I don't know, like, what happened to that character, that thrall, that whatever you want to call it, the dude in the hood. He just sort of stopped showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, it's one of those things where we kind of need to do the thing, and he needs us to do the same thing we are trying to do, and then he just dies.
I don't think he died, though.
I mean, we pretty much end him. Yeah. We take one of Eureka's weapons and kill that body.
But we never find out who it was.
Right.
He's just kind of gone.
It was a really weird way to end it. You go through Hydatos and you're like, all right, turn that off, turn that off, turn that off. And then Edgika's just like, here's the sword.
Yeah, Edgika's suddenly like, I was tempered, but I'm not.
Dude, I've seen
the sword does.
I've seen the Garlic Jr. saga for Dragon Ball Z, and Edgika done pulled a Piccolo. All right.
Yeah, but that conflicts like everything we know about tempering. It's like we've heard some people saying maybe there's some way to reverse tempering. Maybe we don't need to kill these people that are tempered. But Edgika's just like, psych. I was never tempered. Was he never tempered? Did he not like submit to the sword? Did he not actually? Was he wearing gloves? Like, did he not actually touch it? Like, he's like, I was holding it in my sleeve.
Researching this?
I don't know. Maybe
was researching this. So he had to know a way to get out of it. Like if you.
Yeah, but he didn't explain it. He doesn't have the Echo because he's super jealous of Kryle for having the Echo.
And us.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, psych, I wasn't tempered. YOLO. Here's a sword.
Maybe because he's not a bitch. Maybe tempering only works on
Well, it was like, I can't use the sword to kill this thing because the sword tempers me. That's why he gave it to us. He's like, the sword tempers me. I can't use it.
Maybe he never used it. He just held it.
That is such a bullshit technicality, though.
Yeah,
that is so fucking boring.
I never actually swung it. I was only holding it. Nah.
I mean, that's kind of like Frodo. You know, maybe if we had held it for too long, it would have. Because Frodo's just getting tempered by Sauron the whole time. You know.
Yeah.
So. Right.
Yeah,
but that's just by having it like anywhere near him.
Maybe he put it on once, like an idiot. You know, and that kind of didn't help. But. And then you know. Like, we're supposed to, like, I don't know, maybe we're supposed to be Frodo, and he's just, like, Samwise in the thing. Or he's just like, I'm just holding it for now. And there you go.
It's such bullshit. No.
So, Educa didn't, like, transform. Someone just suggested in chat that maybe you have to draw on the power of it, draw on the ether on it, and undergo, like, that sort of transformation into Odin or Raiden or Absolute Virtue or whatever it is before that process is complete.
I mean, that's like he held it. He didn't use it.
He's like, I just didn't use it. I just never used it.
And he gave it to us, and then Eureka's like, "You dare!" And then we killed him.
Yeah,
well, we killed that herald or thrall of him.
Yeah. And then we made the arbitrary choice, which ultimately means nothing.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I've been saying.
Yeah, so that's how this all ends. We end up getting our first ever time where they're like, Educa wants to destroy Eureka then and there, and Kryl wants to simply cut off its ether and seal it away, just like the seal that was in place before the island was sunk. And if you make the decision, that first cutscene has immediate payoff. Similar to the 2.5 cutscenes. And also similar to the 2.5 cutscenes, if you actually get the true ending, it has no relevance whatsoever. Or no, at least, it's got some slight dialogue differences at best.
So, I went with Kryl because Educa just in that last moment redeemed himself and went from the list of every potato to the list of
a select few potatoes.
Select few potatoes that are kind of okay. What happens if you let him sacrifice himself? I haven't seen it.
So if he sacrifices himself, he destroys it there. And when you go through the arsenal, Kryl comes up with a way to retrieve him. And he pretty much says, I wouldn't have done that if I didn't think you could figure out a way to get me back.
Wow, he pretended he was going to sacrifice himself, but he actually wasn't. He was like,
he plays the smartass, like, oh yeah, of course I knew I wouldn't. Like, I'm going to do that. Of course I know you're going to figure out a way.
Meanwhile, half of the population isn't going into the arsenal, so that bitch is dead.
Educa's just like,
he's just dead.
They'll be here. They'll be here.
Man.
I know they will.
Oh, man.
It's 5.0 now. I'm sure some people are coming back to try it again.
Any moment now. Oh, jeez.
Okay. I went with Kryl. Kryl always it just seemed like a true ending for me.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It seemed like more in character for the Warrior of Light to be like, no man left behind.
Yeah. Although I know plenty of people who did take the other option. But this was, as much as this choice ultimately boils down to nothing, this was a pretty nice first use of it in Final Fantasy XIV. We'd pretty much written off ever having real choice. Yeah, I guess, do I go when Papalymo says go, or do I stand here and say no and he blows me back? Which, by the way, is a cooler option, so go with that. Yeah, but that's, again, it kind of is just like a shorter version of the way this ends up panning out, where it's just like within 8 seconds, the payoff is pretty much exactly the same. Here, you have to go through a 56-player dungeon before the payoff is the same.
So it is cool, and it is nice to, I guess, have that illusion of choice sometimes. But I think ultimately the risk here is that we end up in a situation in Shadowbringers where, like, Orchefort will be dead for some players and not for others. You know, something like that. And that doesn't sit well with me. Like, 14 is about having this sort of shared story experience that everyone goes through together. And once you start to kind of like separate that and branch that off and kind of, you know, split paths and make the canon a little bit more ambiguous, that I don't know. That's just a very different kind of storytelling from what we've been getting so far. And what we've been getting so far is something that most of us have been really enjoying.
Well, we all experience instant servers are full together. that's Twitch. So that part of the plot's always the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always okay with giving choices because here's the thing: no matter what choice you take, I think they will eventually make it so the result is functionally the same. So you never get a situation like that with Hoshfont. Like perhaps it's like, you know, one of them is Hoshfont wants to run in front, and the other one is you decide to go first, and then he has to run in front and block for you. It's like that's the degree to which I expect the changes. I always expect the results to be the same like it was here, or at least identical enough that whichever choice you made doesn't really matter. Ultimately, Eureka's destroyed, everyone survives. That's no matter what you do, that's the reality of it.
Okay.
And then it's just a matter of players having the way they want to get to that result. And then I think they'll probably always declare one as definitively canon. I think in side stories in particular, as chat just brought up, like with Yorha and with places like that, I think I'm more, it's easier to do there. I think they just want to make use of New Game Plus, to be honest. I think they want to start doing this so they can use New Game Plus as give another reason why New Game Plus should exist.
But if the choices are that like inconsequential and arbitrary, people aren't going to be like, "Oh, I need to go to New Game Plus so I can see like the other ending or the other path." It would just be like, it's like a 10-second difference in one cutscene. Just go watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, I've always been of the mind that the choices should have some kind of weight. And
well, if there are going to be choices, right? And if they're not going to have any weight, then giving us like the feeling like we do have a choice and then being like, it doesn't matter, becomes kind of jarring, doesn't it? Like you kind of notice a lot more that you have no choice than you would if you did literally have no choice.
I kind of like the way that the arsenal ends up working, because if you don't ever get that epilogue, it feels like it made that huge choice, or that choice made a lot of impact. And a lot of people won't ever, like you just said, for a bunch of people, Eadric just going to be fucking dead.
Well, he's not dead. They just haven't finished the story.
That bitch is dead.
They just haven't finished it yet.
That bitch is dead. That
bitch is dead then.
But like when you first make that choice, the payoff is very immediate and very different. It's only when you go and pursue the like true ending that you end up with this divergent path, or this what's the word I'm looking for when two streams come together? Divergence going opposite is
convergence.
Converging. There you go. I don't know why I couldn't get the word out. These converging paths that ultimately result in the same thing. So it has to be done with some tact, but I think they are trying to add more of a reason for New Game Plus to exist.
I think the other problem here is that Eadric cannot appear anywhere else ever again. Eadric's done, like, as a character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, literally can never appear because you can't... You know what would be fucking hilarious? If Eadric gets used again and...
It's like, I got out.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what he'd be like. He'd be like, oh, I bet you're surprised to see me. Well, after you abandoned me in the live stream, I thought you were going to save me, but I had to come up with...
But then this 56-man party of adventurers came along and did your work for you.
By the way, can I just talk about that real quick? Eadric literally says, I didn't think you'd find enough people to do that. Eadric literally says, I didn't think you'd find enough allies to actually do it. And I was like, thanks.
Me too, Eadric.
Most of the community had that opinion. Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you're being really honest with me, and I appreciate it. You know, most of the time they're like, oh, you're the Warrior of Light and 7 allies. Here they're like, they're not going to do it. Okay. That's it. That's it. You're done. It was interesting seeing how Eureka kind of played back into some of the things, because the big question's been like, why is Odin the way Odin is? That's been like a question since 2.0, when we would see our bodies like phantoms of us being possessed by the Zantetsuken.
Yeah, I'm like, we've known what Zantetsuken does, but we don't know where it's come from. We know that Odin fought against the Allagans, but we don't know why or in what context. I mean, we still don't know like who originally worshipped and summoned Eureka.
Yeah. And it's presumed that even though it was around in the time of Allag, there's the presumption that it does, again, come before the time and was not summoned during that time. It could also be that the original Odin, whoever Odin actually is, was the person who summoned it looking for... Because Odin was originally... Aren't they someone who were... what's their name? He was trying to destroy the Allagans, is what I remember. If I'm remembering the story properly. Odin was like a weapon of vengeance against the Allagans that was sealed away. Earth is the one.
Yeah, the summoner Earth.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if Earth was responsible for that as a means of fighting back against the Allagans, or if it preceded them in the timeline. So that's see. Now we got more questions. Eureka giveth and Eureka taketh away. Also learning that the original Ozma was also a creation of Eureka, and that the Machians was an attempt to recreate it, and then the Baldessians also tried to recreate it to understand how it even functioned.
Were the Machians were they recreating it, or did they just like capture Ozma and use it?
It's the Demi Ozma mount says that the Machians was an attempt to recreate it, if I remember correctly, because the Demi Ozma mount explains what the Machian Ozma is. And
okay, all right.
And what Demi Ozma is. Demi Ozma is the Baldessians' means of trying to understand how Eureka functions. So they're all just because no one understands it.
So was it an attempt to recreate Eureka itself, or an attempt to recreate
specifically Ozma? Specifically the Ozma weapon.
So where's the real one?
The real one is the Eureka one, the Proto Ozma.
Okay. Then why is it called Proto-Ozma?
It's similar. So to go back, because this pulls a lot from C, in Final Fantasy XI, the original Ozma and Ultima were creations of the Lemurians, which were a subcategory of Zylardians who lived in the capital of Altair. And they created the prototype, the original, basically. And it was way better in every way. And then eventually, I think it's the Juonins eventually tried to recreate Ultima and Omega based on designs that they had heard about and seen, and they ended up being weak as fuck compared.
So Proto has got to be contextual. It's got to be the fact that we've already fought an Ozma, and then we see this one. We're like, oh, okay, this was the first one.
Yeah, Proto is first. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And it is the more powerful of the bunch.
I don't know if it is.
Pretty convinced
honestly.
It is.
I mean, it's
I guess I'm sure,
but like, okay, it draws us into a black hole, just dumps us back out in hiatus. Oh no. The Maki one has got a fucking pocket dimension at Ada City. Like,
I would
like badass.
I would assume that in sequence, like you would hope to improve upon a prototype.
Or focus its efforts.
I feel like the Maki one would by a lore standard be stronger, just because it's not the prototype, and the prototype is just that, just a test.
This one's just doesn't have its efforts being focused anywhere. The Machians were like, we're using this fucking thing as a war weapon. And then we're gonna display it for everyone to see. Hey guys, don't forget, we got this fucking thing. It's on display in case anyone wasn't aware of what we've done. Entire civilization, city.
All right.
We just capture it in a pocket dimension. Yeah.
So what kind of weapon? Like if Raiden and Odin are created through swords.
Yeah.
Absolute Virtue is a spear. What the fuck is Ozma?
I don't know. I've wondered. I've wondered that too.
Multi-purpose.
I'm wondering if he's more of a direct manifestation of Eureka.
He's literally something Eureka's literally created rather than a weapon.
Yeah, he's an astro globe. He's an astro globe.
Because we know that Eureka can make like basically anything. Like the example that Kryl used was, well, if you had control of Eureka and you told it to make another mother crystal, it would basically just keep drawing all of the ether out of all of creation, trying to make this thing until everything was destroyed.
Yeah, so Ozma's there.
So I guess Ozma's just like, hey, Eureka, can you make me like a big sphere that can like turn into like a triangle and like a spiky ball?
I'm sorry, did you just go from a 3-dimensional shape to a 2-dimensional shape? You fucking...
Yeah, can you make me an object that just like can go into whatever fucking dimension I want because that's what I want? You can? Alright, cool.
It's called a pyramid.
Right. Okay. And can you make there like some kind of like what the fuck was like whoever it was, what were they on when they asked Eureka to make that?
They were just like, make me the strongest weapon that you can fathom. And it landed on that somehow. He's like, well, it's ambiguous, it's multi-purpose.
Form shifting, yeah.
It can make clones of itself. Give me a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. And I think Ozma might just surpass Metal Gear.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the Maki Ozma can't make fucking clones.
Oh my god. I can just imagine Xande being like, make me a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Fuck. By the way, the Allagans seem to have actually like used Eureka to make weapons as well. Just ones that were not going to temper anyone. The I-90 elemental weapons, you guys remember? Yeah. Like the fairy bow, whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? Those ones. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those ones. They were originally supposed to drop in Labyrinth of the Ancients.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about like when they said, oh, you know how Thaumaturge, we gave you a one-handed weapon from Twin Tanya, and well, now go get this shield from Labyrinth of the...
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the level 90 primal weapons. Yeah. So those were, I'd say, originally conceived as weapons that were made by Eureka for the Allagans, because Eureka was in Labyrinth of the Ancients. That's where Eureka was. That's where they kept it.
Labyrinth of the Ancients has just been a shitstorm of problems, huh? I mean, the whole Crystal Tower, I suppose.
I just really like that we get these ties back to Odin. We get these ties back to Labyrinth of the Ancients. We finally get an answer to the mystery of the Isle of Val. Yeah, it could have been delivered better. They could have given us like a little bit more like each chapter. And I felt that both in like a story sense and a gameplay sense, I think. Like retrospectively, again, it would have been really, really cool if we got something like the Baldesian Arsenal every tier in like increasing difficulty. But weapons to surpass ADS. Fuck.
Maybe that's the weapon that it's based off of.
Maybe so. I can believe that. Yeah, but at the end of the journey, I really enjoyed the Eureka story. I'm happy with it.
That would explain why Ozma is more of a defense system and is not used as a weapon. Like it just sits in one location.
But it could be.
And it doesn't send you to an alternate dimension to absorb you. It just kicks you out. It's like, fuck you, you're gone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's actually a really compelling idea.
There you go.
I like that.
Ozma was originally ADS mount, not just the mount, not any of the other ones. There you go. Just that one.
Okay. All right.
I can support this theory. All right. Yeah, Eureka. I'd say it ended on a decent note overall, minus the bit of drama that's been had regarding the Arsenal and entry into the Arsenal. I mean, they even did some nerfs recently that were kind of weird. The stabilizer being much more available.
Oh, yeah.
Is a blessing and a curse because people are now more easily able to just make them and just go into the blue portals before anyone else. which is what they're there for. But, organized groups aren't as big a fan of that because they're not all making stabilizers, which they should because it can guarantee all of you spots. You want to know what's really weird about that stabilizer? When you use it on a portal, you'd think it would take the portal in front of you, right? It takes a random portal when you use it on any of the portals. It doesn't take the one that you actually use the stabilizer on.
It's only you that can enter it though, right?
Yeah, and it only enters for you. But it's still but it doesn't take the portal you use the stabilizer on. It takes a random portal from somewhere on the map of the 48.
Seems dumb.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
So it locks the portal that you used.
No. It leaves. It just doesn't use that portal. You walk up to one like, I'm good. So let's say you had 48 people that all wanted to use a stabilizer, and you all went to a different portal. You'd be sniping each other's portals and have to run to the other portals. You have to do it like one at a time, and then just take the portals as they were available. It's pretty weird.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
that's really stupid. Look, I think that all these issues with like organized groups and stuff, it's already happening on Elemental. We're just pugging it because it's such a pain in the ass to organize that many people. It's not that difficult. And once everyone's been in there a couple of times, they know what's going on. Like, it's going to be pretty easy to pug. I suspect that in the other data centers, it's probably going to become like ultimately way more common to pug it. And a lot of these issues are just going to like evaporate as a result.
I've seen a lot of groups just starting to basically say, hey, we'll go in, we'll try to get in as 4 or 5 parties, and we'll let the rest, and we'll try to just let everyone else pug, because trying to get 7 together is too much of a pain. But I'm seeing those groups get smaller and smaller, where they're just like, I'd rather not try to coordinate 7. I'd rather try to coordinate 3, because you can beat the whole thing. One thing to remember with the Valefar Arsenal, the bosses do scale to the number of people who enter. Like, we've had like a 13 million HP Absolute Virtue and an 18 million HP Absolute Virtue. And on top of that, the people who are inside the arsenal don't affect the scaling of the NMs back in Hydatos, so it works both ways. So it is possible to go in with a smaller group and clear it. It's not like...
You just need to have people not dying.
Yeah,
basically.
pretty much. So I've seen more and more groups just kind of accepting, hey, this is intended to be fragment farming, especially because most of the people who are still doing it have already beaten it, and they really don't need. So getting more people up to speed on how to do it in pugs is actually more beneficial than trying to coordinate a full 7 and try to, take the whole thing. So it's getting, from what I've seen as someone who went into Hydatos and farmed like 700-ish crystals over like 4 or 5 days to finish a bunch of sets and weapons and stuff. I saw more and more like, hey, we're 1 or 2 groups and we want other people to come with us, or 3 or 4 groups.
I think that's how it was intended, right? And most of the people that are like really, really salty with the way that it's been implemented, I think they're sort of missing the point, and maybe they should just wait for another couple of weeks and notice the trend will probably shift to people pugging it and clearing it with pugs, and most of these problems we're having are going to be a non-issue.
Well, to your point, because I'm probably one of those salty people, sort of, kind of.
Probably.
Like, sort of.
I've been getting salty with people sniping my portals. I get it.
No, it's not even. Well, see, that's the thing.
It just shouldn't work like this.
It shouldn't work like this. It really should. It should. The way it's implemented, the way they implemented, the way they tag this as, public, is kind of a misnomer, because it's really not. Especially when it started out and it was more private, and the people who kind of qualified and who wanted to try it out kind of, block people out. So that was my whole issue. Like they put. When you allow other people to gate content, that is where I have a problem.
Well, they don't allow it. They just... We just started going in that direction.
I think you'd find... So there's a lot of issues like on these Discord groups or whatever that, like, if you don't basically go with a pre-made, if you try and pug, like, you'll get blacklisted from these groups.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that shit would be against terms of service. And I'm pretty sure that if you were implying that you were going to blacklist people like in-game chat logs, that you could get reported and face disciplinary action for that. So it's players being shitty to each other in the same way that if I'm sitting in front of a portal and I've been there for 3.5 minutes, and then someone comes along at the last second to try and compete it and snipes it from me. That's not Square Enix's fault. That's the douchebag that just like has no manners and did that. I'm angry at him. You know?
But Ethys, there's a solution. Like, no.
Stabilizer. And then it'll take someone else's portal.
No, like the solution I heard in game, like, and I saw it in game chat. Like, someone sniped your portal. Yeah, we'll just what they say? We'll just shirk him when he gets in.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Most groups I've seen just say like, most groups that I've seen have just been like, listen, if you can stay alive, great. But then you know what's happening? I've seen people start asking for FFLogs now for this, because what people are doing is they're running plate bearer. There'll be like a dragoon running like plate bearer cure 2, and they'll just and they'll just keep themselves alive and not hit the boss at all.
But again, if a couple of people are doing that, like, it's not a big a deal, you know.
But I'm telling you what I'm seeing people do in response to those things. Yeah, and then I see, you know, if a portal sniper dies, don't res him. Like, I've seen that happen before.
The only time why I say portal sniping is griefing is if you go in and then like immediately leave.
Yeah, and if you deliberately try to grief that player's experience who took the portal and they're trying to do it seriously, you're on the other end of it.
Yeah, and you're an asshole. Don't do that, please.
I just think that, yes, while you could say it's that douchebag, I totally don't think they should have ever do this like this again.
I think Square Enix has had this problem like so many times implementing content, is they like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it's kind of nice in a way that like when they design stuff like this, it doesn't occur to them that so many people in the community are just selfish douchebags, right? But they need to realize that moving forward that we are selfish douchebags, and that there needs to be some way to mitigate that.
I'm of the opinion that we have the solution, and no, not the duty finder. I actually think Diadem has a solution inside of it, and that people are not. We have those underground caves that restrict you once you enter them from flying. If those were just public dungeons that groups of 8 could enter,
right?
Then all of a sudden,
do the arsenal that way.
Yeah.
I just say make it instance. I just say do it like you make it something you queue for, make it something you could party find for. Do it that way.
I think raids like this in future should definitely be that way. But when it's gated behind content like Eureka, and the conditions for like, you know, forming parties and doing it with a group is consistent with the content that gates it, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen this on Ether. I don't know if other Discords have it. They literally have a duty finder in the Discord. You press the Q, you press the Q, you type a command to Q, and when your turn to join a group comes up, it pings you in Discord.
That's kind of cool, but if someone goes in and just grabs a portal and ignores that, don't blacklist them.
Yeah, I'm okay with them gating this stuff behind Eureka also. That's the thing. I would never want. Here's the thing. If you told me there's a 56 player dungeon that I could queue into in the duty finder, I'd be more scared than I am going into Eureka and doing it.
Right, because people would be completely clueless and not committed.
Yeah. I'd be very scared.
Yeah, I mean, gating it behind something is nice, but not necessarily exploration content.
Oh, and just to be clear, since there's been a discussion going on, taking a portal is not reportable. Taking a portal with the intention of griefing the people inside is reportable. Like, if you were to take it and then just be like, haha, fuck you, and leave, like, that would, or you go in and deliberately do every mechanic, I'm just going to do every mechanic wrong and try to kill you, like, I'm going to deliberately do acceleration bombs wrong, which is, like, the only way you can kill
that's griefing.
Yeah. You literally can't be reported for being like, oh, cool, a portal. That's for this new thing, right? Oh, cool.
I mean, you can be reported, but nothing's going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen. We had a guy come in and we all just said, hey, can you get in Discord? And he said, no. And we're like, all right, well, we can't really help you. So if you die, it's kind of just done for you. And he's like, okay. And then he asked after he died, can someone res me? We're like, no. That's kind of the whole point. Yeah, so I just think this whole portal thing, just never do it again.
Yeah.
Just
Agreed.
as much as it could just be, hey, if we were just nice, we won't be. Okay.
Yeah, we won't be. It's not that bad, but at the same time, maybe don't do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, portal stealing is like cutting in line at Raoban at Stormblood launch. No one's getting in trouble for being just walk. And you know how many people I saw do that with Raoban? Someone walks up to the NPC,
walk up to him,
and they're just like, "No,
reported, banned,
get in line."
Oh, jeez.
So stupid. Oh my god, that's fun times.
Fun.
Yeah,
That was fun times.
Yeah. That happened in the beta with the level 15 quest also.
Oh my god.
Sly, you didn't start playing till PS4, so this didn't happen for you. The level 15 quest where you have to fight that demon for the main story quest, it was bugged like Raoban. People made lines to get
That's
into
fucking
it.
awful.
Yeah. So, just wanted to get you up to speed on that one. That's where the line meme started for Raoban. Was because of A Realm Reborn beta. So, good times. All right. Is there anything else that we need to...
No, we already took a bit of a tangent, didn't we?
No. I mean, it was all pretty relevant, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got my Ada thing out there. We got to talk about Eureka. It was all good.
I'm happy.
Yeah. No, that's...
Don't.
I'm glad how quickly you realized your mistake. I'm actually really proud of how quickly. No.
What, you're proud of how predictable you are? Is that it?
Yeah. I'm glad that you've at least finally, after all these years, like reacted fast.
Oh my god.
Because you never have. Every time someone says I'm happy about it, I say it, and you're just like after the fact, you're like this. No, you're like, no, I'm getting ahead of him this time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So I'm proud of you. Okay.
Thanks, boo.
Well, with that, I think we can do our sign-offs, gentlemen. For just so you know, Sly and I had this discussion before the show started. The shows for the rest of the month will be on the 5th, the 12th, the 19th, and the 27th, which is a Wednesday, which you'll find out why we're doing a Wednesday show momentarily. And because Sly might be going to East, so he can't do a Friday show that week. There you go. Okay. So put those all in your calendars. Those will be when all the next shows are for Stay of the Realm this month. With that, though, we have to let our moon-hating guest here, which we didn't even bring up the moon, which actually did come up during EU Fan Fest, but it was a joke, so didn't have to bring it up very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, Ethys. Finally, we managed to get this after all the weeks of waiting.
I know. Oh, thank you so much. It was really fun. Yeah, good to do a lore show. It's nice. Look, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. Ethys Asher. It's right there. It's there.
There you go.
It's there. It's right there. You should also either go and have a look at fandom or have a look on my Twitter and scroll down. I've done 3 articles for fandom coming out of Paris Fan Fest, which were a lot of fun. One of them is basically an exhaustive list of everything that we learned about Shadowbringers in Paris. Another one is a lore piece on the Warriors of Darkness and what that could mean for us. And the final one is a community piece, just sort of talking about and celebrating the community, trying to help people that don't necessarily play the game or aren't heavily invested in the game to sort of understand what the community is about and what makes it so unique and special. So check those out if you get time. And thank you very much for having me on the show, for hanging out. And hopefully I'll see you all really soon. So I'll pass you over to Sly.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sly. You can find me at twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Instagram at Slyh, aka Greyfox07, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. As usual, I'll just play too many games, and March is no different. Haps will tell you too. But yeah, I got quite a bit going on in the month of March. The schedule is, now that Haps has told me everything, is pretty much 100% now. So I'll be putting out a content trailer tonight for the Twitters and everything, just so you can see what's going on in March. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you sometime in the Velvet Rim. Haps. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Thank you, my mod. Thank you for reminding me. March is the 3-year partnerversary of the Velvet Room. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Good times to be had by all. Special things happening. Yeah. We'll see you soon. Happy? And aloha?
Yeah.
Aloha?
This motherfucker. Where is he? Hi. No.
Yeah, I was trying to
run.
sneak a word in through aloha, but Jesus.
Wanted to pick him up, and he's like, "No, I know what you're doing. I know your game right now. That's what you get for coming over here. Don't run into the kitchen. You're scared." Hi, I'm Mr. Happy. You can find me and Aloha at Mr. Happy127, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of those places. As Sly has said, the month of March will be very busy, more so for a reason I'm about to explain to all of you. For those who are wondering, some of the titles coming out, we have Devil May Cry 5 on March 8th. We have Sekiro on, I don't even remember when. I think it's like
March 22nd.
22nd, there you go. Which I will not get to play the day it releases. If you're interested, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which had open beta today, will also be available on March 15th. Chocobo Dungeon Everybody, I think, is also available on March 15th, or maybe that's the 23rd. I can't even fucking remember at this point. Sekiro. Wait, I already said Sekiro. There's another game I'm thinking of, Sly. I can't remember what it is. I'm panicking. What is it?
It was one of my games, but you're not playing it, so don't worry about it.
Okay. Chocobo's March 20th. There you go. So that's that Tuesday. All right. There you go. Now, I said Devil May Cry 5. But all of that, it's kind of... Oh, the City of NT. No, that doesn't count. All right. It launched ages ago, but it's hitting PC and it's free to play. So, two things. One, we have State of the Realm 200 coming up in a couple weeks. This is 198. And what better way to celebrate State of the Realm 200 than for it to be the same month that I get to go to Japan for the first time? Because I have confirmed as of today that I will be attending the Japanese Fan Festival. My trip will be sponsored by Square Enix, and I'm looking forward to going because I've wanted to go for the last several years. I got told it was okay to announce it like a few hours ago because ironing everything out. So that means, by the way, I won't be live streaming the opening keynote. I will not be live streaming the opening keynote because I'll be there, and I will not be live streaming it from the show floor. So, also not going to PAX East. That was the other thing I was forgetting, by the way, is PAX East is at the end of the month. So, I'm looking forward to that. That's why we're doing the Wednesday show. I don't come back until that Tuesday. My flight isn't until that Tuesday, so we'll do the Wednesday show while I'm jet lagged. Pretty much. So, I am beyond excited. I'll be making a video about it for YouTube, and Aloha might be in that video if he keeps annoying me. Yeah? You want to go to Japan? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, so that's my plan. That's my plan for the month. And and 4.56. That's the other thing. Is end of March. That was the other thing I was forgetting. There you go.
There you go.
All right.
So I am very excited, and I hope you gentlemen are excited for me.
I am. You can't see this chub I have.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. I think I'm just gonna go to the outro screen. I think I'm gonna Ethys on that one and set. It's done. See you. Let's go. Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday for a show. I don't know what it is. Get your eggplant emojis out for Sly right now. Just all your eggplants, please. So yeah, thanks for being here, both of y'all, because it was a good time until just now. And then thanks, man.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
We're going to post show.
See you next week.
See ya, everyone.